think habituating a proper warm-up and a proper like mobility routine, regardless of what session you do, is just one of the biggest flipping gym hacks that you can have, because when it's fully habituated, you don't bloody think about it. It just becomes part and parcel. A few minutes of like general warming, some foam rolling, some mobility work, especially around kind of the glutes, the hips, kind of the hamstrings, the lower back, everything that seems to batter me a lot. Just having those exercises part and parcel. Like today I'm doing an upper body session, but I'm still doing this as basically active recovery and kind of just general prehab for my lower body. Make sure the glutes are nice and mobile, make sure the hip flexors are nice and stretched out. And if you just have it as a non-negotiable part of your gym routine, the first takes flipping 10 minutes, man, and you can claw that time back just by making sure that you have a little bit more of an efficient session, by not taking too long a rest periods between each set. So today we're gonna do some upper body. We're gonna start with a push and a pull superset. Basically what I'm gonna do, I've been doing bench for the last few weeks, and that's the main focus with the hybrid event coming up. However, today, as a bit of a one-off, I'm actually not gonna do bench. I'm just gonna do some strict overhead press, just to kind of mix it up a little bit, because I've done about 4 or 5 weeks of straight bench at the beginning of the week. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do ascending 4s, so basically as heavy as I can for 4 reps on strict overhead. So down, don't really need to pause, and kind of push off the chest a little bit, but no push from the legs and the hips. And then I'm gonna come over here, and from seated, I'm gonna do a couple of rope climbs all the way to the top, and then control the eccentric. It is definitely the downward phase that is significantly more challenging. So a little bit of warm up for my shoulders, and then we get cracking with round 1. I think one of the things with imposter syndrome generally is that I think some of the worst advice that people can be given in this day and age with social media, and obviously everyone vilifies it and it's got flipping amazing qualities, and I think overall actually, I mean, it's yet to be said, it's yet to be kind of known and fully understood, but I think hopefully being optimistic can actually be a net positive. But I think one of the worst bits of advice that people can be given about imposter syndrome in this day and age with social media is just try not to compare yourself to other people. It doesn't work. Like, we're literally flipping wired to do that. A statement that I kind of anchor into regularly is comparing ourselves to others is a feature, not a bug of the human condition. It's not something that we can get over. It's not something that we're going to stop being able to do, but it's something that we can manage. And one of the things that I am very grateful for is the fact that, I don't know, sometime in the last couple of years, being 36 now, I do just care a lot less. Like, I'm still subject to that external comparison, but the things that imposter syndrome will stop you doing are taking risks, moving forward towards something that you actually want to do, putting yourself out there, allowing yourself to be seen, allowing yourself to be vulnerable. And these are all things that when you do just develop a little bit less of an attachment, or the attachment to what other people think. And I think the thing with that is when the attachment to what other people think of you does genuinely start to diminish, it becomes a lot easier to move through. And again, you know, it's cyclical. Sometimes I feel fucking scared to be vulnerable, scared to put myself out there, scared to keep pursuing something that I don't feel is always working compared to some of my professional or personal kind of competitors or rivals or whatever in different industries. But overall, the good news is the amount of time through a calendar year where I care less is significantly bigger. And that's the good news. I think when you realize what's called the spotlight effect, which is basically no one's really looking at you. We all seem to have this ingrained thing, thinking that the entire world is staring at us and meticulously mocking or assessing what we're doing. At the absolute most, optimistically, we are NPCs in somebody else's story. That's the good news. Nobody really gives a shit what we're doing, and we don't really occupy more than about 2 seconds a month for somebody else's attention. And when you realize that, A, it can be sad, but B, it can kind of be nice and liberating, and especially if you apply that through the lens of imposter syndrome, you can just kind of keep pushing through. So 60 kilos on this. I reckon my working set for 4 should be about 77.5, 80. Let's keep working our way up, pushing some stuff, climbing some ropes. So I've gone straight to 80 from 70. Let's see how I get on with this. But I'm feeling okay, actually. Push levers are feeling nice and strong. I think sometimes you've got to play it by ear, right? I talk about this quite a lot, the ascending bar method. If you've got a certain rep range, so as an example today, heavy fours, that's my particular rep range target. Basically keep going up until you can't really hit a set of that particular rep range anymore. And 70 to 80 is definitely a big jump for me, for some people, for some of you guys. I'm sure it's nice and easy, but 4 strict reps on 80. I'm feeling pretty good, so I want to ride that wave. And I feel as though if I do a set of about 75, that'll take a lot out of me. So do this, and maybe even squeeze out one more set of 80 kilos as well. 4 big pushes, and then climb a rope. It's not that hard, is it? Yeah, I think that was pretty close to my max. Maybe it's an extra 2.5 kilos would have been all right. It felt surprisingly unstable, actually, so I don't kind of know what that's telling me. Body position's a bit off. But this stuff is so axially fatiguing. That is to say, the amount of like central nervous system fatigue you're going to get on something like a strict press compared to like, I don't know, a flipping machine shoulder press or something. It's just 10 times as much, as well as just... So basically, if you're just looking to build muscle, and that is the only objective, this probably is not the best exercise for you. But overall, I'm looking for a big central nervous system activation, because this stuff does have transfer over the bench still. Obviously, it's not direct, but it is still there, which is what I've got coming up. So I don't mind reducing the volume, reducing the muscle growth, and focusing just on this. But things like, you know, heavy strict press, heavy deadlifts, heavy trap bar, this kind of shit just wipes you, man. One more rope climb, and you can't really do this on the first few rounds, but because it is definitely going to be my final one, climb to the top as I have been doing, and then basically super controlled on the way down. It's that controlled eccentric when you're already a little bit fatigued from going up, and the eccentric loading, so basically the controlled kind of lengthening. That's the bit just flipping fries you, man. You get bicep tendonitis in about 20 bloody minutes for this. But I'm going to do this, and then actually just as a little bit of a finisher to work a different part of my back, different part of my pull levers, I'm actually going to do about 5 or 6 front levers after that. I'll probably have about a minute between though. I'm 36, leave me alone. One of the things that's helped me recently, actually, a nice little reframe when I'm worried about what people are thinking about me and the position that my life is in. Again, kind of like the spotlight effect, but I asked myself the question, when was the last time I saw somebody do something that I necessarily might not do myself, or is a particular way of being, or a particular way of training, or wearing a particular jacket that I've thought of for literally more than 2 fucking seconds. And I just think that I believe that I'm quite cerebral, and I believe that I'm quite an introspective, deep thinker, sometimes to my own kind of detriment. It might not necessarily be the most peaceful way to live. And if somebody's doing something absolutely crazy and walked into a gym, or I saw them on Instagram and they said that they now quit their job as a tier 1 lawyer and they now identify as a pirate, I would probably think about it for about 60 seconds and then just crack on with my day. And again, it's just so liberating when you really think that, because you think, well, that's what everyone else is doing when they look at us. And again, it might sound sad, but no one cares what we're wearing. No one cares what we're doing. No one cares about, basically, nobody outside of our immediate circle really gives a shit about anything that we do or say or believe, as long as we're not getting in their way. We're all kind of free to live our lives. And nobody outside our immediate circle of friends and family really gives a shit about what we're doing for us. And we're not getting in the way of the things that they're doing or the things that they're enjoying, especially in the modern hyper-stimulating world as it exists right now. That's the great news, genuinely. It might feel sad sometimes, but there's a hell of a lot of freedom in it. Intensity going down and volume going up now. So our supplementary functional hypertrophy lift. What we're going to do, we are going to do some machine, basically bench, single arm. It's quite good on unilateral actually, this. Making sure that kind of the pecs and the push strength, the horizontal push levers are nice and balanced. So I'm going to go all the way down to a dead stop, actually on the stop our arms here. I'm probably going to do about 12, and then straight into a row movement, keeping the rest down now. Only about 60 seconds. Let's get pumpy. final bit of advice I'd give, if you're a similar age to me or older, the good news is, definitely no one really cares what you're doing and no one's kind of really comparing. That's definitely more of a young man's game, and there's a level of relief that comes with the anonymity of being in your mid-30s, when realistically the young bucks that are anywhere between 18 and kind of 25, they see us as outside that competitive pool, so it doesn't really matter, right? And for those of you that are a little bit younger and do feel more fatigued under the weight of the burden of comparing yourself to other people and feeling as though they're potentially judging you based on the outcomes of your actions and your behaviors, the good news is it is truly short-lived. A, no one cares already, and B, it is only a matter of time before you really start to live the benefits of truly accepting and absorbing that statement. So the final bit, what we are going to do is we are going to do some inverted row and just some push-ups. So we've done the strength stuff, the intensity's gone down and the volume's gone up with the functional hypertrophy set. The intensity's going down even further and the volume's going even higher. And basically what we are going to do is we are going to do 100 inverted row and 200 push-ups, and you can break it up any way that you want and basically just keep going until you're through. So in terms of the adaptation that you're eliciting from this stimulus, you're packing on a shit ton of good quality, healthy muscle. So I'm gonna break it up probably by doing, 10 push-ups and 5 inverted row, and then just go through that 20 times. It's gonna be disgusting, but that's why we're here, right? Let's crack on. And there we have it, guys. That is that upper body session done. I'm pretty happy with how that went, actually, and I appreciate you kind of checking this video out, giving it your time, and indulging my my TED talk on why imposter syndrome can be fucking crippling, more so now than at any point in human history, I believe. But the good news is it truly is diminishing with time and with age. And that's the thing. I mean, overall, even though, my body hurts, my soul hurts at times, my conscience hurts more than I would like to admit, but the good news is as you do get older, you really start to care about this stuff so much less, and it is such a relief. And I think it comes from a certain amount of exposure to being in adult life, and then when you really again start to check in with yourself and be like, when was the last time somebody did something that I don't really know them, and I really cared about it and had like a legit emotional attachment to their life? You just don't give a shit. And the good news is they feel exactly the same way, and they don't really give a shit about us. And there's freedom that comes with that. Upper body done. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you haven't yet done so, smash that like button, takes you 2 seconds. It's incredibly beneficial for the growth of me in the channel. By all means, check out some more of my stuff. Really appreciate you coming along. If you can lend another 15 minutes, I'd be grateful. Hopefully there might be some modicums of value in that as well. If you have not yet done so, make sure you subscribe. And as always, gentlemen, stay strong, stay healthy, stay awesome. And I'll see you all in the next video.